All right, welcome back. I just want to get a few things kind of off my chest and talk about uh, kind of my biggest struggle right now in my career. So, my biggest struggle right now in my career is something I would say is information overload. It's just, I feel like the last 8 years, I've had this flood of professional experiences that my training hasn't really prepared me for that much. I studied enterprise networking and then I worked at an ISP and then I did things that were more related to data center networking. So like I never really felt like yeah, and that's not even true too because the hands-on stuff I felt like I was prepared pretty well for, but it's just let me put it this way. I feel like there's this problem in IT where no matter what you do, it's wrong. You can't do the right thing because it's such a broad, all-encompassing thing now. It's no longer, there's cloud. Let's look at the let's go to my channel, uh, Graham's Network Lessons. Okay, and then let's look at a video I made recently. So this overview of certifications video. And then let's go to, so here we already see I've got one, two, three, four, five, six different companies listed. I've got AWS, which offers certifications. And even within AWS, what do we got here? So let's prepare for an exam. So, um, so yeah, we'll go to get certified. We'll go to certification overview. And here we go. Now we can choose our path. So we've got a solutions architect, we've got an applications architect. This is the architecture path. Already in the path for architecture, you've got two different ways you can go. So if you try to become if you study diligently, you spend all your time perfect, you do the exact right thing to become a solutions architect, guess what? They're only going to have application architect roles once you finished your study, and you're not going to get hired because you're a solutions architect, not an application architect. And that's just for architecture. There's data analytics, there's development, there's operations. Within operations, there's two branches: a systems admin and a cloud admin. You go into the system admin, guess what? They're not going to have sysadmin jobs for you. They're only going to have cloud engineer jobs open, and you did the sysadmin, not the cloud engineer, so you screwed up. You can't get the job because you're not qualified for it because within operations you studied system admin and not cloud admin, and you did that with a Cisco certs and not with AWS certs. So it's just like nobody in the world can learn all of this. There's just so much to learn, and this is just one certification entity. This is just AWS certification. So within AWS certification, you can learn about AI, you can learn about networking, you can learn about security, you can learn about DevOps, and then that's just AWS. There's also Microsoft certifications. You can learn about administration, AI, app making, developing, data scientist, data engineer, and that's another one too, where if you become a data engineer, oops, we're looking for a data scientist. You're not a data scientist, you're a data engineer. So, it's a gamble. There's so much to learn that it's become like gambling, where you pick one of these things, they roll a roulette wheel in the job market. The wheel comes up black 32. Black 32 is developer. Too bad for you because you spent all your time becoming a data analysis. So it's like this is what I feel like has become a really big problem in IT is it went from kind of a fair exchange of your time for learning for job opportunities to an unfair gambling type situation where you spend your time diligently studying for something, and oops, you didn't do it right. You studied for the wrong thing. You don't have opportunities in that thing. We only have a functional consultant opportunity, and you decided to become an app maker. So screw you. You're not a functional consultant. We're looking for a functional consultant. And by the way, we're looking for a functional consultant for Palo Alto, and you spend all your time with Microsoft. So it's like, yeah. So that's just what I wanted to say. Just get those frustrations. I know there's something like Cisco U, which is like a new thing, and I watched a David Bumble course that kind of talked about it a bit. Um, but I feel like that's kind of a this is it's a gamble. As I said, it's no longer this kind of exchange where you can become a network engineer, and now there's network engineering roles for you that you apply to with your training and your experience as a network engineer. It's like, no, there's an application AWS solutions architect. And guess what? We don't have any of those roles. We only have application architects. And you spent the last year of your life studying to be a solutions architect. Screw you. We need an application architect. Or that's AWS. AWS is out. We're using Azure. We have no need for somebody with AWS. It's a gamble. It's not fair in the way it used to be in my mind. Um, so yeah, my the way I'm addressing this, I think the CCNA is still key because the CCNA is still like legit and important. I mean, we've got if you just look on YouTube, like there's channels that mention the CCNA explicitly get a lot of views, particularly for like learning the CCNA. There was this channel that just was stuck in my recommendations. The guy had 3 videos, and one of his videos had like 3,000 views on it. My top performing video, I think has like 1,000, like less than 2,000. And all it was this is a book that is good for studying the CCNA. That's all the video was. There was no home lab. There was no pulling up devices. There was no actual talking about real content on the exam. It was just this book is good for studying the CCNA, and the guy had 3 videos, and it's like I feel like that is good. Like there's a lot of people going for interested in the CCNA and going for the CCNA. So that's on the one hand a sign that there's just a lot of belief in the CCNA. A lot of people are uh, considering it a good thing to look at online, which I think goes a long way for a cert. Um, so I think when it comes to this, if nobody is looking at this at one of these, or like nobody is focusing on this and there's no interest for them, I think that could be a barometer. And I experienced that with the JNCI ESP. It's like, nobody else, my channel was all about the JNCI ESP. I'm very grateful for the subscribers I have and the attention it got, but I didn't hold up a book and say this is a good book and get 3,000 views. I did comprehensive, detailed overview of the detail word by word reading of the documentation, submitting errata to the documentation and to the BGP RFC later on. and having that reviewed by Juniper, um, and having those corrections and those suggestions for updating the documentation implemented. So I went into vast detail. I set up my home lab that I have here. I bought a external server that I got. I had to get licensing for the images. I set all that up. I did so much, but I did it on red 13, and on the roulette wheel, black 7 came up. So I lose everything because I invested everything I had on a roulette wheel option that didn't come up. So like I feel like that's a huge problem in IT, and that's kind of why I'm not going like I'm done with the JNCIESP. I'm never like I'm done. No, I'm never studying for that again. Even if it was free, I'm just no. Like what I'm doing is, and I will make the video after this. I'm going for the LPIC because I feel like, as I said, my experience has veered off. Like you can't just. It's like if and a lot of people don't understand this. Just because you have a CCNA doesn't mean you're entitled or you're going to work as a CCNA. It makes you interesting to employers who think they need those skills, and it puts you in situations where people with a CCNA are typically hired. Will you use everything? Let's look at the CCNA curriculum. Yeah, so the exam covers networking fundamentals, IP services, security fundamentals, automation, and programmability. So yeah, like that's all good stuff. Like you will be using that stuff. But it's like, I feel like, this is CCNA. There's AWS, there's Azure, there's Palo Alto firewalls. It's like you're not going to be valuable and marketable in the same way with the CCNA as you were before because they're done with that. They're on to cloud. They're on to AI. It's like you're behind. Like network fundamentals, network access, IP connectivity, IP services, security fundamentals, automation, and programmability. Yeah, that's great. Like you need to know that, but you don't need to. Knowing that does not make you special. It's like you know that those are like here's the possible job roles: entry level network engineer, help desk technician, network administrator, network support technician. These are not cloud architect. These are not machine learning engineer. Like these are not big, lucrative. The biggest thing. This is not site reliability engineering. These big job titles that nowadays are the thing and that are lucrative are not CCNA job titles. And as far as I know, they used to be. And then the other thing is this is a CCNA. There's no such thing as a CCNA. This is out of date. This is a page that is not accurate. There is no CCNA. This is you know there. Let's go to certifications here. Cisco certifications. Now, yeah. Oh, there is still. Okay, it's the enterprise. It's the enterprise. Okay, good. I was confused about that, but okay. So there is a CCNA. It's the CCNA enterprise, but as we see, that's not it. Like that's not these big, high-paying, prestigious job titles that everyone wants. Those are the cloud. Those are the machine learning. Those are the security. It's not, it's like here's yeah. So I feel like it starts with the CCMP. Like if you really want to now, and that's different as well. I feel like it used to start with the um, CCNA. If you wanted to become a uh, mid-level network engineer, you get your CCNA and you work for a few years and you get promoted to a mid-level engineer. I feel like that's not quite the case anymore. It's if you want to become a mid-level network engineer, it starts with the CCNP. You have to get that CCNP, and then uh, yeah, and then that's where you get your foot in the door. It's not like it used to be where the CCNA gets your foot in the door. Things have changed, and if you're lucky, the CCNP will get you in a door to a job title that's no longer abundant and lucrative the way it used to be. Those job titles are now cloud, security, machine learning. And you're betting on the roulette wheel that's on the other side of the one that was actually selected when it spin. You're gambling on this. You're gambling on these roles still being relevant. You're gambling on these roles being abundant. And the problem that I'm trying to express here is that you were always gambling on that, but you were gambling with odds in your favor. And I feel like that's no longer really the case. And it's hard to find that again. Where can I gamble where the odds are in my favor? And that's kind of my biggest struggle right now in my career. I'm also struggling with since the pandemic, just so much has changed. A lot of my values have changed. Um, I've changed a lot as a person. I keep gaining weight, which is actually kind of a pretty big problem. Um, so yeah, I feel like that I'm just at a crossroads roads here that I want to make public on this channel and talk about because I think a lot of technology professionals, people trying to build a career, can relate to this and have experienced this themselves, where it's just it feels like they were gambling with better odds, and now the odds have changed, and the gambles they are making are no longer making sense the way they used to. I really feel like that is the case with me. And what am I doing about it? This is what I'm doing about it. I'm focusing on certifications that I think make more sense. I'm going to start with the LPIC and get as far as I can with that because that's more of a general cert. It's kind of like, in the casino, pulling a lever in the slot machine is a lot different than playing blackjack. Playing blackjack, yes, you're still gambling, but you can learn to cart cards. It's a more skillful, relevant thing that you're doing. It's like it applies to more situations. It's more math based. I feel like the LPIC is more like that. Like if I'm gambling on the LPIC, I and the odds aren't in my favor and I lose out, it's like I still did something that can transfer to other things. So yeah, that's I think the end of this rant. Not sure kind of what the purpose of this rant was. Well, no, I do know what the purpose is. Just to express my frustrations, to vent and kind of have uh, a be with an itch session, just about my frustrations with uh, going ahead in this career. It seems like there's been this big shift where a lot of things just aren't valuable the way they used to be. There's like a lot of like hiring freezes, pauses, and these companies are doing that willfully. You know, they're not concerned about opportunity costs in doing that, it seems like. And to me, that makes sense because we have these things like AIs now that we never used to have that completely shattered and changed everything. The whole world as we know it is different. And you are now, the odds have changed. And it was always gambling, but there were good odds to do certain things. And I feel like everything has changed, and that whole thing has changed. And for me, just continuing down the course I was at, um, with the advent of GPT, is not a good thing. So yeah, I think that's the end of the rant. I'm gonna do another LPIC video because I think that makes a lot more sense. I don't think the LPIC is really, well, it's all gambling, of course. Maybe like one of the things that could happen. Linux has been, this revolutionary thing throughout computer science and computer applications. Um, let's try this. So Linux has been revolutionary in computer science. Explain how this is so, and create a new operating system that similarly revolutionizes computer science. Yeah, like, just this is the kind of stuff that's going to happen. Is I feel like the AIs are going to obsolete all of this. Like, we're in this time where this field has blown up and grown so much. I mean, data science, like, that's all, a lot of that is about AI. Like, AI is becoming one of the main things that will be remembered historically. In my opinion, it's like the Industrial Revolution. It's on that scale of significant historical events. So, you know, Linux is great. It's had its run. It. I'm going for the LPIC because I believe it's a gamble that has good odds. But tomorrow, the AI could invent a better operating system, and now, you know, it's it's there's so like here, Evolve OS. We're no longer using Linux anymore. We're using Evolve OS. You got your LPIC, great. We don't need an LPIC. We need someone with Evolve OS certs. You wasted all your time getting the LPIC, and we don't have any LPIC positions. We have Evolve OS positions. Um, so yeah, it's and yeah, So I'm gonna have it read this out loud, and then I'm going to stop the stop this. I'm gonna share my screen because that was not showing up. But here it is, and kind of what triggered this whole thing is um, there's these things like algorithmic trading with Python that you can learn about with stock market trading, financial math. These sorts of things are exciting and interesting, but I got to study for the LPIC. But do I? That's a gamble, like with odds. Instead, I could gamble with algorithmic trading and learn that, spend my time on that. But that's a gamble too. Like, where does that lead? So I just feel like it always used to be like that, but it, it it's different than how it used to be in that there's more things you can gamble on, and there's like the payouts for choosing the right thing, like the stakes are higher as well. So i'm just I'm going to end this video and work on the next LPIC video, by having the AI read this answer out loud, and then that will be the end of this video, and you can stay tuned for the LPIC video. All right, and it's not reading it for some reason. For some reason, it's not reading the response. That's okay. I'll just read it out loud. So the question was, the prompt was, Linux has been revolutionary in computer science. Explain how this is so and create a new operating system that similarly revolutionizes, did a typo. Typos don't really matter. Computer science. So the answer is, Linux has been revolutionary in the field of computer science for several reasons. Here are some key aspects that contribute to its impact. Number one, open source philosophy. Linux follows an open source model, which means that its source code is freely available to the public. This fosters collaboration, innovation, and community driven development. It allows developers from all over the world to contribute, review, and improve the system, leading to continuous enhancements and widespread adoption. Um, sorry. I so another thing I want to talk about, and I'll finish reading that later, is this video here, the dumbest trend in tech. This is like a part of why I want to talk about this, and it's like, so to summarize, what this video is saying is the attitude that I have and that a lot of people in this field have is that if you're paying for learning, you're wasting your time and money, because instead of paying for learning, you could be learning for free. So he has a good point. There are products that you pay for, your learning is 10x, 100x, 1000x, and you save time and you invest your money, and your money grows because you're not wasting your time studying the wrong things. It's streamlined. It's set up. There's a curriculum that the company for your money curates. But this goes back to the gambling. It's like, now not only are you gambling with your time, you're gambling with your money. And like, this has already been done. Like, all these certification things, like, you're already spending money if you want to get certified. So now you're spending money on the certification, on the training, on whatever upgrades to the training you want, on multiple trainings. It's just adds up. And there's a point where there's, that's a good point. Just always considering any training company that wants to charge you to be doing it in bad faith and to be a scam that's not going to be a good investment with your money. Yeah, that's ridiculous thinking. But when you gamble with your time to study with something, you get your CCNA. Oh, we don't need a network engineer anymore. Network engineers are obsolete. We need a cloud. Why did you waste your time with your CCNA? It's like, okay, fine. You can tell me that. I wasted my time. But if you buy all these courses, now you wasted your money and your time. And I feel like courses that try to are less likely to be relevant because they're, you know, it's not out there. It's not in the sphere. It's not abundant in the way that free things are, and that could be a good or a bad thing depending. But yeah, I'm just kind of ranting. Um, but yeah, it's a good point in this video that if you only, yeah, and free is also monetized. Yeah, okay, but it's it's an investment, yes, but I actually would say in our current sphere in tech, the way the technology industry has changed, where a lot of people are having trouble getting hired, the AIs are released, which can do amazing things and they'll only get better. There's no longer really a definitive course or certification track that is a good bet and makes a lot of sense and that a lot of people were successful use. There's now AWS, Azure, Google Cloud Platform. You can't just pick one and be reasonably assured that it will be a good investment the way you could before, in my opinion. Um, so you gamble with your time and you can also gamble with your money. So my opinion is kind of you're already gambling with your time, so why also gamble with your money? Um, but yeah, I'm going to finish reading this. Number two, customizability and flexibility. Linux provides a high degree of customizability and flexibility, enabling users to tailor their operating system to their specific needs. This has been particularly beneficial for developers, system administrators, and researchers who require fine-grained control over their computing environments. The modular nature of Linux allows for easy integration and adaptation to diverse hardware platforms. Number three, scalability and reliability. Linux has gained a reputation for, stability and reliability, not scalability. Oh, scalability, no, because like Windows has scalable products as well. So like any operating system will be designed for um, like one of the advantages Linux has over other systems is it's stable and reliable. Not necessarily that it's more scalable. Linux has gained a reputation for stability and reliability, making it a preferred choice for critical systems and servers. Its robust design, efficient memory management, and process isolation capabilities contribute to its resilience and ability to handle heavy workloads. This reliability is crucial in fields such as finance, web hosting, scientific research, and supercomputing. Number four, security and privacy. Linux has a strong emphasis on security, with a vast community constantly scrutinizing the code to identify and fix vulnerabilities promptly. The transparency of its development process helps ensure a high level of trust and integrity. Additionally, Linux provides fine-grained access controls, privilege separation, and encryption mechanisms, making it a reliable platform for protecting sensitive data. Range wide range of applications. Linux has a broad range of applications across various domains, from servers, embedded systems, and supercomputers to smartphones, tablets, and IoT devices. Linux has permeated numerous computing environments. Its scale, versatility, and scalability have contributed to its widespread adoption, powering critical infrastructure and driving technological advancements. Great. And you can learn all about Linux and be considered a Linux expert if you get the LPIC exam, unless employers are only interested in the Linux Plus certification from CompTIA. But either is a reasonable gamble, unless we have a hypothetical new operating system that could similarly revolutionize computer science in a week, which is possible with these AIs, and we call it Evolve OS. So Evolve OS would build on the principles that have been made successful while introducing some novel features. So the first novel feature would be artificial intelligence integration. Evolve OS would leverage the advancements in artificial intelligence and machine learning to provide intelligent automation, predictive capabilities, and adaptive user experiences. That would be great. One of the main things I think that prevents kind of older people from using computers is everything gets mixed up and jumbled and they can't keep it straight. So like to have it adapt to a user experience to kind of learn whether or not a computer user is frustrated, because that's the biggest thing is these older people using these computers, they just get pissed off and frustrated and they stop doing what they're trying to do because they don't have the same kind of like patience, and they don't have the same kind of need to use it. They have other things they can do, whereas kids have like all the time in the world and they're bored, so they just mess around on these computers. So an adaptive user experience that can tell when you're frustrated and change to have you not be as frustrated would be uh, a really good thing. It would continuously learn from user behavior, optimize resource allocation, and proactively assist users in their tasks. The second novel feature that would make Evolve OS as revolutionary to computer science as Linux has been, and Linux was revolutionary for these five reasons. The second reason for this one would be seamless multi-device integration. Evolve OS would offer a unified and seamless experience across different devices, including desktops, laptops, tablets, smartphones, and IoT devices. It would enable users to transition seamlessly between devices with synchronized data and applications, fostering productivity and mobility. That would be huge too. Um, so like we have facial recognition to sign you into your phone. What if any device you could do facial recognition and it signs you into your account, and devices are no longer necessary to be unique to a user. It's just you can do anything you want on any device, regardless of whether or not it's yours. That would be revolutionary, whether in good ways or bad ways. Okay, so the third thing would be enhanced privacy and data ownership. Evolve OS would prioritize user privacy and data ownership. It would implement robust encryption mechanisms, decentralized data storage, and user centric privacy controls, giving individuals full control over their personal information and protecting them from unauthorized access and surveillance. So that's a big one too. Now you own your devices, you put it in your pocket, but what if there was a OS that made it so that you owned your data in the same way, put it in your pocket, and it can't be used to exploit you the way it is used now? The fourth one would be quantum computing support. Evolve OS would anticipate the future of computing by providing built in support for quantum computing technologies. It would offer tools, libraries, and an optimized runtime environment to enable developers to harness the power of quantum computing seamlessly. Number five would be sustainable computing. Evolve OS would embrace sustainable computing practices, focusing on energy efficiency, resource optimization, and reducing electronic waste. It would encourage green computing initiatives and provide tools for monitoring and optimizing energy consumption. These are just a few ideas for a hypothetical revolutionary operating system. The successes of any operating system depends not only on its technical features, but also factors like community engagement, industry adoption, and market dynamics. Nevertheless, a forward thinking operating system that integrates cutting edge technologies and addresses emerging challenges could have a significant impact on computer science and the broader technology landscape. So yeah, this is big community engagement. That's a good word for what I was talking about. There's a lot of community engagement around the CCNA, which is a reason I think it's still very relevant. There's no community. Sorry, the community engagement around the JNCI ESP consists of primarily my channel and Chris and networkfuntimes.com, of which there's really not community engagement. You can't. It's not like a forum, or you can't like make a comment on there. You can donate to it. Yeah. So okay. So that's all I wanted to say. Let's see how long this video is. Oh man, it's 42 minutes. That's very long. So yeah, I kind of wish I hadn't made this video and wish I had just focused instead. But I wanted to get it off my chest. The idea that everything is now different than how it used to be, and the odds have shifted, and explain my reason, kind of get it into my own head. The idea that having I think the LPIC is kind of like the new CCNA. It's a better gamble, in my opinion, because just learning about routers and switches, it's like, well, hold on, I gotta come back in a few minutes. All right, I'm back. I kind of forget what I was talking about, but yeah, that's the end of this video. I'm not sure where this video belongs as far as like a playlist or anything. I kind of wish I hadn't made it and wish I would have spent this time on the certifications instead. But yeah, I just kind of wanted to get that off my chest. So thanks for watching and see you in the next one.